Time too, considering that the Dodgers were able to survive and actually thrive for a bit without Clayton Kershaw. But Alex, they weren't going to thrive or survive in the playoffs without him. And I think can we finally put to bed the idea of he can't pitch in the postseason, please? Because what we've seen these first 4 appearances has been nothing short of outer-worldly here from him.
These have been legacy games for him, and there's no question about it. In order for the Dodgers to win a world championship, they need Kershaw to be Kershaw, and tonight he was.
First career scoreless start in the postseason for Kershaw. And we talked before, guys, about not throwing the curveball. 9 curveballs tonight. Fastball, slider. You talked about the slider placement early, but I want to go back now a couple parts of this game. You heard Clayton talking with Kenny about that 7th inning. Had a little bit of a heart attack after the Baez hit. Let's go back even further. 6th inning. He's up at the plate. Dave Roberts elects to keep him in. That was the same spot yesterday that Joe Madden, Frank, decided to pinch hit for John Lester. So interesting difference in the managing perspective with your aces today.
Well, that's Clayton Kershaw. He's the #1 pitcher in baseball. I mean, no one can doubt that anymore. To see him pitch this week with short rest all week, I think some of that is he didn't have to pitch a couple months this season.
Yes.
And he's still got a lot of adrenaline going, and his arm is not as worn out as usual. But, man, what he did tonight was just unbelievable in Wrigley, because this team is very strong at home, and they always find a way to score a couple runs. I don't know if the weather was a little warm tonight with humidity or whatever else. A couple balls would hit hard, but it went Clayton Kershaw away. Great pitching performance. I mean, he was gritty as it comes. He didn't mess around. He got the ball. He threw strikes. He made it difficult on the Cub hitters tonight.
That 7th inning got interesting, though, Pete.
Well,
and it has for him in his playoff career.
Yes, the whole thing was interesting. But if the Cubs don't turn it around offensively, they're not going to win this series. I mean, they're just one guy 1 for 22, another guy 0 for 1 for 22, another guy 0 for. I mean, you can't have 3 or 4 guys in your lineup that's 1 for 20. You got to score runs to win games. Their pitcher Hendricks pitched a good ball game tonight. He gave up 1 run in the 1st inning. He pitched good enough to win any other game. So the offense has got to come alive, or Chicago's going to come back here in a bad attitude.
When you get a guy like Clayton Kershaw, the best pitcher in baseball, you're not going to have that many opportunities with this type of pressure. I would have liked to see Zobrist put down the bunt.
Well, I'm not bunting my 4th place hitter right there, okay? I thought that was the worst at bat Zobrist could have, because he just walked Rizzo on 4 pitches, 3 of them bounced. All right, the first pitch to him is over his head. He swings at it, gets lucky, the catcher drops the ball. The next pitch is a ball 2 if he's taken, okay? And the next pitch he takes right down the middle for strike 3.
Very uncharacteristic of Ben Zobrist. Not only to swing at the first pitch, but to swing at a ball that's almost over his head. Frank, whether you bunt or whether you hit and run, maybe put the game in motion, I do believe that if you're the home team, if you tie that game, you feel like advantage Cubs. So I'm with you.
Yeah, but you're right away saying the guy hitting 5th or 6th is going to get a base hit. They haven't got base hits all night. So why are they going to get hit all of a sudden because you sacrifice?
Give yourself a chance, Pete.
Well,
Zobrist is not your typical 4-hole hitter. Yeah, this guy is fundamentally sound as any player in baseball. He can do it all. In that situation, Baez is lurking in the 6th hole. He's been Mr. Clutch the whole series. He was there, 2 outs away. He might have got a big hit. You never know. He almost took the ball out of the ballpark. At home, you got to give yourself a chance to win in certain situations against great pitchers.
You guys both hit 4th in the lineup. How many times you sacrifice? Ever? No. How many times you sacrifice?
I'm trying to tell you.
No. Okay.
Zobrist is not a 30 home run, 120 RBI guy. He's never been that.
Zobrist was 90 RBIs.
He gives him flexibility. He's able to hit 4th because he trusts him. He's fundamentally sound. He's a slasher.
But to me, this leads to a different discussion. Because, okay, to counter your point, Addison Russell is up next. He hasn't done a thing.
Nothing.
He hasn't done a thing in a long time.
1 for 22.
This brings up a point that Pete brought up in the pregame show that maybe begs some discussion now, certainly more on Tuesday when we're back on with the pregame. But Pete, the Cubs have benefited from late offense. They've scored in the 8th and 9th inning. They've won 3 games in their last at-bat. But before the 8th inning, they're not hitting at all. And you talked about flip-flopping the lineup a little bit. Today, they played Hayward. It came to bite him in a big spot. He was up. The only threat they had, they get him out. Would you consider making some changes to this Cubs lineup going forward?
Well, you've got to make changes somewhere when the offense is anemic as it is right now. I mean, it's just the way you manage
Where
baseball.
would you do it?
I might flip-flop Rizzo and Bryant, because Rizzo hasn't got a hit yet. He hasn't got a hit yet. And Bryant's the best RBI guy on the team. You got to get Rizzo going. You got to get him some fastballs. And I think if Rizzo's hitting in front of Bryant, they're going to give him more fastballs because they don't want Bryant out there with a man on base. Hayward, I don't know about Hayward. I mean, I don't like hitting Hayward eighth because he's struggling as it is, and that's the toughest spot in the order to hit. Eighth is the toughest spot in the order to hit. You agree with that, Alex?
Yeah, I do. And to me, that was the biggest at bat of the game, Pete. And you know, we talked about whether he should have been there or not. We all had our debates. But again, somehow or another, the at bats, big at bats, find a way to find you.